But I have all of the notes from all of the reviews I've done. They all right here. I need to throw them away. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I have got questions for you. What opens with what opens with Ashley getting in the process of her yoga certification, and what closes with Candace having gone through a hazing certification process? If you guessed Shade in a Bubble, season 3, episode 5 of The Real Housewives of Potomac, you're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video or joining live. Hello? Joining live and sticking around to see what happens, how we get from opening to closing. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to do too much. You see, that's what happened when you try to do the most. Okay. My thing isn't charged. All right, so we open with Ashley. We find out that she's being yoga teacher certified. I think they got to do 200 hours, so she's doing 200 hours. And Candiace, and Giselle are joining her for a class. It looks like neither one of them have been to a yoga class before, so they kind of, do the usual shenanigans to indicate I've never been to a yoga class before, or whatever. And then after the class, Candace is describing her fiance to Giselle and Ashley, and also his penis, that it is pink with a brown tip. So we get a lot of information about his member. Giselle asked about Ash and her prenup agreement. Is she getting her prenup extended? I've never heard of a prenup extension, but Ash says she is definitely getting her prenup extended. Giselle seems to be happy about that in terms of protecting Ashley from whatever. And then they ask Candace if she is going to get a prenup, and she's like, "Well, I'm the one with the money, so no." And no prenup. And Giselle is like, that's why you need a prenup. I wouldn't go down the aisle without a prenup to protect me. Her mother, it seems like she would have people in her family or her mother who would be able to guide her through the process. So I don't know if this is just like some fake for TV conversation type stuff. Okay, so then we see Raven, a little scene with Raven, who's Karen's daughter, who's home. And, Karen is talking about how nice it is to have her daughter home. They have a conversation about sexuality, sort of, kind of, about how Karen feels that her daughter should visit her more or invite her mother to visit her. How, I guess, Karen has done a pop-up on Raven, and Raven was not really, here for it because she's busy living her life, her best life, off in college. So then we see Candace with her fiance, and she ends up bringing up the conversation about the prenup. Hey, I was talking to the ladies, and they mentioned the prenup. And White Chris is basically like, hey, I came into this with nothing, and I can leave with nothing. So, it ain't even no thing for him. He's not offended. He not upset. He ain't, at least on camera, it wasn't no thing at all. So she's really relieved about that. They're planning like an event that's kind of like a lowbrow outdoor barbecue type event. The fiance, White Chris, is going to be catering it with his restaurant. So they're doing barbecue. And she's telling him, don't jump into the pool. If you see a pool there, don't jump into it. I don't want you to embarrass me. If you see a lake, don't jump into the lake. I don't want you to embarrass. If you see a puddle, don't jump into the puddle. I don't want you to embarrass me. So, and it's going to be some kind of soccer game. I didn't really understand. Now I understand. So we see Monique with her children. She's basically reflecting on her gratitude for having the 2 children that she does have. We learned in the last episode that she had a miscarriage, and I can't remember if that was her first miscarriage, but they're really, really not very uncommon, although we don't talk about them a lot. So I was really kind of glad that I was sad that they had the miscarriage, but I think that it's really important and it's good for us to talk about it more, and how common it is. Because sometimes I think people feel very alone when they're, going through that experience. And even if everybody is going through it, you're still, your personal grief and your personal loss of your child is still very personal. But anyway, so she's, spending time with her children. Her little baby girl has her little beads and everything, little cute kids. And then we see Shasha. Is the child's name Sharice? Shasha, who used to be one of the housewives last season. She's visiting Monique. We find out, hey, Mary Jane, Monique is making some type of ginger drink, which is good. I love that. She said, I think she said that the children are under the weather, and whenever they're under the weather, she makes that. I do the same thing. I do like, I'll grate up ginger, and then you boil it in water, and I grate up and cut up ginger, and then I boil hot water, then I pour the hot water through the ginger in a strainer, and then I dump the ginger in the water and let it steep and like kind of stew on low, and then I'll keep adding water to it, and sometimes I'll like squeeze lemon and put lemon peels and stuff in it. But even just the ginger in the water, and then sometimes I'll put honey in it, sometimes I won't put any sweetener in it. But the stronger is good for the system. Is good. So she's got her own recipe that she's working on for the children, but also something she's thinking about selling on her website. And Shasha is looking at Candace's soccer event invite, and she like, this look like it's something for little children. This ain't for us. This is not for my age bracket. Says Miss Shasha. Says a woman who called herself Shasha, that it's not for her age bracket, but she called herself Shasha. So we see Monique goes back to her ghost reader joke. I guess she thought it was really funny, or maybe it's editing or whatever. Because I thought it was okay when she said it the first time, but now we got to hear it again. So then we see the green-eyed sisters are she made a joke about Giselle got a ghost writer and she need a ghost reader. So then we see the green-eyed sisters, they're meeting at Robin's place, and Giselle is like, Robin's big sister is visiting her new place, and one of the little baby boys answers the door. I thought it was gonna be you. You thought it was gonna be me. They cute. It's real cute. It's nice to see that. Like, it seemed like they have a genuine relationship. So I like to see that, the family dynamics. Robin Dixon has hired a designer, we find, to help her with the house. And Giselle is like, this is a win for Robin. She got her man. She done moved 3 blocks down the street. She got, 3 inches more space, but this is a win for her. She got her man. I'm happy for her. So that's good. It's good for the sister to be happy, for the sisters to be happy for each other. I like that. Karen and Sharice are also invited over as well, so it's kind of like the OG type crew getting together. And Robin has extreme sympathy. Robin is saying that she has extreme sympathy for Karen, since she's experiencing extreme financial hardship, and she knows what that's like. And then Shasha and Karen arrive. The ladies go up to a room that I guess they're supposed to be working on painting, and they do some painting, and they're talking. Giselle calls Monique. I guess somebody tells her about Monique's comment about Giselle needing a ghost reader, and Giselle says Monique is sad, simple, and dumb. Sad, simple, and dumb. That's not funny. It's a little funny. It was just a little funny. And she when she hears reference to Monique's ghost reader comment, Giselle tells the ladies about the brown peen with the pink tip, or was it the pink peen with the brown tip? I can't remember. And they talk about and question the age appropriateness of the bubble soccer event that Candace is having. And then whether they kind of play around with, maybe it'll be good therapy to be bouncing around and banging into people. So the ladies are painting, and Robin is telling the ladies about her children having to take cold showers when their gas was turned off. So she's talking about some extreme financial type situations that she's been in, and she says that was like her rock bottom, and that's why she never wants to be broke again, and why she is so mad about Ashley attacking her and Juan's relationship because she like, we've been through some stuff. We've been through some real stuff. She don't know nothing about that. We see Ash and her hubby at home, and her husband is massaging her feet. I guess he talking about they funky or wet or something. She like, well, I've been to yoga. It's love juice, baby. Rub it. So I always like to see. I once went on a first date with somebody and they massaged my feet, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's kind of intense, but it was a really nice full massage. But I'm like so weird about, I'm like, I'm not touching your feet. But anyway, so he's massaging her feet. I like to see that. That seems very affectionate, and it's a nice bond. It's kind of intimate. Um, so Ashley is telling her hubby about the conversation that she and her mommy had about about the whole money thing. And we see a flashback of her thinking that she's giving her mommy tough love by saying, well, mommy, you're going to have to, fill out this checklist of how you're spending your money. It don't really seem like tough love to me, but anyway, that's what she's doing. And her hubby is like, you need to cut your mom off, and you need to cut her off now. And Ash is like, look, I could just end the conversation and lie and say that I'm going to cut her off, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying that. And then her hubby is like, well, I don't know how long we can stay together as a couple unless you cut your mom off. And let's get it handled so we can go on and work on us. And so that's the end of that scene. That whole situation, it kind of, I feel kind of bad about, the mama, her situation, how she processing it, the daughter, how she feel about it, the dynamics of their relationship. It's just, I was trying to let my thing charge because it discharged during the thing earlier, but we just gonna keep it moving. So that's what's going on. It seemed like Ashley is more or less gonna have to cut her mom off, which it seemed like it's just so unhealthy all around. Like, I don't want her to cut her mom off, but the whole situation with her mom is a mess. And then I'm mad at Michael I'm just, the whole thing just, we see the Green-Eyed Sisters, and they're in transit to Candace's bubble soccer event with the barbecue. And it's being catered by her fiance's restaurant. Sherman, that's Giselle's man, he's not coming because he's in Miami. And Robin is like, well, he's in Miami. Ashley and her mom is hard. Yeah. Because on one hand, I just feel like, cut her off. She's a mess. But, I feel like if it was my mama, it's your mama. I mean, I don't know how... it's easy for me to say cut your mama off, but it ain't my mama, and you better not tell me to cut my mama off. I'm gonna cut you off. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard, girl. It's hard. And Giselle's, the other Green-Eyed sister, Robin, is like, well, why are you, why is he keeping the house here in this region if he has the place in Miami? And Giselle's like, it's because of all of this here. Like, I guess he's staying around because he building a relationship with her and spending time with her. So, it's her face that's keeping Sherman in Maryland. And Robin says it'll be her first time meeting Candace. And I was like, is it? Huh? Hey, Rowdy Chica. And then we're at an event, and Giselle says that we're at the event, like Candy Ace's event. And Giselle says that she will not be participating in the inside of no sweaty plastic ball part when it's already hot outside. No, I'm not doing that. And then Robin introduces herself to Candace, and Candy Ace is like, well, we met before. And Robin is like, no, we didn't meet before. And Candace is like, yeah, we met before at the event. Ashley introduced us, and Robin is like, no, we didn't meet. I don't know what that was about. What was that about? And then, of course, the producers show, footage of them meeting, but maybe she didn't. I don't know. Um, Monique's hubby and okay, so then we see Giselle, and she's like, Giselle is standing around with Candy Ace and her fiance, and Giselle is like, I can't look at him. And And Candace is like, why? And Giselle was like, you know why. And then Candace is like, well, I told him about our conversation. And Robin is like, well, how would you feel if he was talking about your vajayjay to his friends? And I thought that was a good question, because I would not feel comfortable with, don't be talking about my vagina to somebody. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's kind of intimate, and then you go around the friends and they looking like, oh, we heard how your vagina look, or, I'm like, oh, that was kind of like, and, Candace is like, well, it would be fine if he was celebrating I think she called it the coochie woochie. And then the fiance, he looks real uncomfortable too. Chris, White Chris, W Chris. So then the Green Eyed Sisters do end up getting into the soccer ball thing, and they like, rolling around and bouncing off of each other. And it looks like it could be fun. It does seem like, how do you sanitize it? And then plastic, we like anti-plastic, but I could see how it could be kind of fun and interesting to play that game. And then Monique and Giselle is talking about how competitive Monique is. So that was kind of interesting. I mean, not Monique, how competitive her sister Robin is. So Monique and her husband arrive, and then Michael and Ashley arrive. And she says that they basically argue like British royalty. No one would know that they're arguing with one another. Yeah, folks can't tell from the outside. Then the Grand Dame arrives with her white friend, male friend, white boy Matt. So is that her lover? Is that who that guy is supposed to be? That's the guy who was at the press conference with no press. Dreadful, darling. Who has a press conference with no press? The Grand Dame, of course, the Grand Dame. So her hubby Ray is not there. And Shasha arrives by herself, and Candace is kind of disappointed because she wanted it to be a couples event, and she like, all these people ain't arrived with a boo boo, and hey, Spencer Whitelow, they ain't arrived with a baby, they couple, they not, and they, some of them single, some of them with random people, only a couple people here with a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, type thing. So she's a little disappointed. And then okay, where am I at? And then she decides that it's gonna be men versus the women, and they play like only 2 or 3 minutes. Is that what it said? That they played like 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and everybody was like, "Woo, we finished. That was fun. That's over." I think it was like less than 3 minutes that they played. And then the ladies are like faint, they're hot, they're dehydrated. Candace is bringing some liquids over, and they're waiting for the food. Now, when you think about the fact that they only played for 3 minutes, and you might expect that with this whole event that you would play for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, that that the food, like the way it was edited, it was like, we're just waiting on the food, waiting on the food, waiting on the food. But if we take into account that they only played for 2 minutes, when I'm making a plan for an event, I would have never planned for 3 minutes for the game. So they were probably right on schedule, although they come across as looking like they're behind schedule, or his restaurant is not doing stuff, won't be doing stuff the right, it's like they late and we waiting, we just waiting and we hungry. And Giselle had already said, I don't want no meat. And I don't know, it might be on this page or it might be on another page. And then the Grand Dame is like, yeah, you have to come correct for these ladies. I mean, I come correct and they still complain about my events. So they're waiting on the food. Karen is she says she gonna get hers to go because it's too hot to be out there sitting around on the park benches. And then the fiance Matt tells them, oh, is it Matt? What's his name? Chris tells them that the food will soon come. Then the truck, we find out that the truck is stuck behind some construction or whatever, and it's coming. And then Candace is like, you can't trust a man, she's saying in her interview, you can't trust a man to do nothing. Here I am looking like boo-boo the food with no barbecue. That was kind of weird to me. And then Candace is like, the toast is two bulls. I don't know what that is. And Monique is, the toast is to balls. And then Monique is like, may they never be blue. And there was some other, cute little thing, but I can't remember what it was that they said, but it was kind of cute. Then we see that the cast is going to, Oh, this is the wrong thing. The cast is going to the theater. No, the cast is not going to the theater. Mrs. Molly. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh my gosh. I don't know where I was, so I'm just gonna pick up here. I hope this is the right thing. And then there's some reminiscing about Monique and Candace on their first meeting when they first, oh, it was so much fun when we got together and we both found out that both of our people's names are Chris. It's the W Chris and the B Chris and the fiance and the husband and they talk about all of that. And then the convo goes back around to Chris's penis, White Chris's penis. It's a lot of peen talk. And then Candace says that she knew questions were going to be asked, so she just, brought it up anyway. And Robin is like me, like, no, wasn't nobody going to ask no questions about, your man's penis. And you don't know these women, and they might have all dealt with white men. I mean, I don't even know why that would be like a topic of conversation. I don't know. Especially with people you don't know well. I could see if it was like your girlfriend, you like, girl, what? But just like random people you don't know, it seemed weird to me. So I was with Robin on that no. And then the folks get up for food, and then Karen is like, she needs napkins. And did I overlook them? Where are the napkins? And oh my gosh, there are no napkins. Peace, Rottweiler. So I don't know what kind of catering they do that they don't bring napkins with them, especially for barbecue. They should even have wet naps, I would think. But anyway, we see the conversation goes to Candace's wedding, and we find out that her mom is paying for her wedding. I think it's just the women sitting around talking at this point. And she'll say, she's like, my mom will say no up front, but, if you massage her, the money would just fall out. And that's kind of a weird statement for a grown person to say, I thought. And Giselle is like, well, what else does your mother pay for? And I thought that was a weird question to ask a grown person. And then Candace answered it. And she's like, well, we bought a house together. Like, I thought it was so weird for Candace to be given so much information about her to people she don't really know about her finances. And I figured Giselle was like, she gonna ask just because, she figures she'll ask. And if the dumb bitch answer, then hey, that's on her. But I don't know why she was asking and why they were answering. And so Giselle was like, well, what else does your mother pay for? And Candace is like, well, we brought the house together. And Shasha is like, your mom pays your rent? And then Candace is like, well, she pays half of the mortgage because it's her vacation home and she comes every month and spreads out. That whole thing is weird. And then Candace is in the interview, and she's like, I do realize that Giselle is hazing me, but I'm an open book. And then Monique is like, not Monique, but Candace is like, so Chris has 3 children and they live out of state, and we're trying to get them, and their mothers, or I think it's more than one mother, but them to move here with the mothers or whatever. And then Giselle was like, is your mom going to pay for that too? And Candace is like, no. And Shasha is like, so what does Chris pay for with his brown penis? And then Monique is like, poor Candace. I had it easier. They just asked me how many homes I had, and I had 4. Now I have 5. She always flossing and showing how much money she got. And Candace is, I'm not Candace. Yeah, Candace is like, well, Chris pays my car note and something else that she's saying. And then Karen is like, don't answer these women. Don't answer their questions. Tell them that it's none of their business. And that's what I was like. She should have realized her maturity is off and weird. And then we see Ash in an interview with Ash in an interview, and she's like, shoot, not Robin, but Karen, you better let them focus on her spilling all of her beans so you can keep yours quiet, because she been kind of a little bit of the focus in her financial situation. Then Karen is like, well, I'm tired, and Monique is like, well, you weren't even in the ball. Why are you tired? And Karen is like, trying to adjust her hair, and her glasses. And then they end up doing like a whole wig shift. It's like a whole, it's a moment. I was kind of like, what in the world is going on? And Karen's like, that was just a shift. I mean, I've been wearing wigs for a long time. Believe you me, I know how to keep them attached or something, she was saying. And I know people always talk about how bad her hair is or her wigs are or whatever. So yeah. um, and then the party is basically breaking up and people are going their own way. And Candace is like, in the interview, don't get it twisted. It was definitely an interrogation with the flashlight in my face and everything. And then Candace and her fiance Chris are chatting afterwards. That's all I got. See, I'm about to take all of this paper with me. So that's all I got. Did I miss anything important? Did you enjoy the episode? Are you enjoying this season? What do you think about Candace? She seemed kind of like immature and weird, right? Am I making too much noise with the paper? Yeah, she seems, her whole thing with the fiance seems weird to me. And her whole thing with her mother. Like, she seems like one of those, thank you. She seems like one of those grown women who is like, I'm going to tell them that I'm grown. And it's kind of like, girl, go sit your behind down someplace with your grown self. If you got to tell somebody, I'm a grown woman, and you probably are not quite grown. But that's all I got. I'm about to watch Married at First Sight. When I went to my thing, it was a replay of what I had already seen. So I think that the reunion is coming up, and that's all I got. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous. You. Peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, share, comment, subscribe.